Eagles Nation, what's going on? Hey, we have a lot to discuss this evening. We've had a lot of guys resign. We've had a lot of guys also be brought in free agency. So we got to talk about it, right? We also had a guy in Fletcher Cox, a big part of the organization for a good minute, but he won't be any longer because he's retiring as well. Hey, the thing is, we have to understand as fans, guys have only so long of a shelf life to play this game. Fletcher Cox, defensive lineman, being beat up on a lot. Jason Kelce, offensive lineman, especially with this tushy pushy, being beat up on a lot, right? So it's great that we had these gentlemen, as long as we did in the organization, and appreciate them for being career Eagles. They never going to play for another team. They stayed with the Philadelphia Eagles their entire career. But we'll get into that a little bit later on, right? Just want to touch on that. Y'all know a lot of signings, a lot of free agent signings, a lot of guys re-signed. Instead of getting into the numbers, what we're going to do here for you at Eagles Elite is we are going to get into how it affects the team. The salary cap, we worry about that on 50,000 other shows. Got these people that want to break down the salary cap and give you all the numbers down to the penny, the percents and all that. It's all well and good. There's a point for that. Go check them out. But here, we're going to give it to you how it affects the team. All right, so before we go any further, bring on my co-host, Eagles Diva. What up?
What up? What up? What up? Ready to talk about this news we got going on.
Whole lot to dig into. All right, and we have our first comment. So Benny, what up, Benny? Benny says, okay, how he made some moves, and once again, he focused more on the offense. Yes, we got CJ GJ back and added Huff, still no linebacker to make an impact. So we can talk about all that. But what I want people to understand very first about this is we're not done. Free agency is not over. I'm not grading anything today because how are you going to grade an incomplete card? Right? When you was in school, college, whatever, right? If part of your assignment was done, it's not graded. It's not graded until everything's turned in. Everything's not turned in. But there have been some moves made that we definitely have to talk about the effect of the team. We'll start with the re-signings, and we're going to get into some things. And also in the building, we got Old Man Mob.
What's going on, Old Man Mob?
What's going on? He says, you already know, I had to show my bro some love. All right, hit the like button and everything. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hit that like and that subscribe and all that. And Old Man Mob, I appreciate you for saying that because, you be getting into it here. You be getting so serious about it. Sometimes you forget. Make sure this slides through here every week. All right, so y'all, the first thing we're going to do, we got to hit the theme music. Got to get the intro. Got to get the extra level of hype. After we do that, you know what's on the popper.
The kick is away, and the kick is it's gone! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Yeah, it always gets the juices flowing for your boy. I can't speak for anybody else, but definitely gets the juices flowing for your boy. So check it, y'all. Want to shout out another place that you'll be able to find us, 502 American Angel Radio, LaGrange, Indiana. You definitely can hear Eagles Elite on there as well. So shout out to them. You can find them on all of your listening apps. Tuned in, all of the sort of those. So make sure you check us out there as well. But before we get into that, anything else? Diva? So far we've made some moves. So right now, honestly, it's incomplete. But before we go into any specific ones, how are you feeling about the moves we made overall?
I mean, I like majority of the moves. The only move I really didn't like, I didn't want Saquon, to be honest. I didn't want him. I felt like if we was gonna pay him that much, we could have kept Swift. I preferred to have Swift. Saquon has always been injured dating back to college. So I just don't have any confidence that he's gonna stay healthy because he hasn't. And it's always been said, "Oh, Philly doesn't pay running backs," but they went and paid him. Why you couldn't keep my boy Swift?
So Old Man Mob says, I'm so sad right now. Crafts have lied to us, Pats fans again. They're cheap, but at least you all are cooking. Well, so far. So since you brought him up, let's go ahead and start there. Okay, so we're gonna start with Saquon Barkley. He's you would say, most people say, the crown jewel of our free agency. Our addition. So I'll say this. For me with Saquon Barkley, I feel like the money's a little high, but the guaranteed is not as bad. Also, injuries are a major concern. If we can keep him healthy, we'll see what we can get. I think he's only had one season where he played all 16 games, and that was the year that they made the playoffs, not this past year, but the year before that, where he was a dominant force on that team. So we'll see if that was a aberration or if that's what he can do. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I would have rather had Josh Jacobs or Swift back for a lower cost. But one of the things that was pointed out to me was real simple. Saquon plays in the trashiest field in the NFL. So are we surprised that he's been hurt? And I had to sit back and say that's a very good point. So what I'm gonna do on the Saquon Barkley pick is I'll say this. I have to wait and see. I'm not going to condemn the pick yet. I'm not happy about it right now before they put on any pass, before he runs any snaps or any plays as an Eagle, just because of the injuries. Like, the injuries is a big thing to me. I think if he's on the field, his ability to catch the ball, his ability to, if he's healthy, to be explosive, can add another layer to what we can do offensively, because we did not use Swift in that manner. I think Swift had those same skills, but we did not use him in that manner. So if you have the skills and we don't use them, it's still not going to be effective. But I think Barkley can be a piece for us. My biggest concern is who's going to be the backup, and I don't want Kenneth Gainwell again. I want someone who can come in and be a dynamic player, at least in spurts, or have the potential to be. So I'm not big on, same type of guys again. So give me somebody. So a name that's out there right now that I like is A.J. Dillon. If he wants to come in somewhere, it's fine with being a backup again. Depends on what he wants, monetary. But we got to get another guy in there who can really make explosive plays in the run and the pass game from the backfield. So if there is an injury with Saquon, we've got a backup that we're comfortable and confident with. That's where my concern lies with Saquon Barkley. Any other thing you want to add to that, Diva?
No, that's it.
All right. So since we're on the free agents, we'll just go through that whole list right now. So then we added defensive end Bryce Huff from New York Jets. Got the big money deal. Like I said, we're not going to really go over the numbers and all that. We're going to talk about his impact on the team. Diva, what do you think about, from what you've seen and heard, the impact he can make on the team?
I mean, he played really well last year with the Jets, so I feel like, with Fangio being in there, which we'll see how his defense works. Since we don't have the carbon copy, we actually have the blueprint. How well he can do up under Fangio's bend but don't break defense, 3-4 defense. But I think he's a good ad.
Yeah, definitely a good ad. He's a guy that disrupts things in the backfield, very aggressive player. He's a guy that's going to make plays. He's a guy that's going to get you in a position to have those third and longs, those second and 12s and 13s, those thirds and 8 and 9, where you can make the other team pretty much one-dimensional so you can go after them. I like the fact that he's here. I think this signifies Josh Sweat won't be here. He'll be traded. Josh Sweat did also say on his I think it was it X Twitter, I think it was, where he basically was saying like he's gone. He didn't say he's gone, but he's saying he's gone. But I think this does lend towards that because we feel good production out of Huff. Still other pieces, again, that need to be added to this line, but you already have Jordan Davis, you already have Jalen Carter, you've got Moro Ojomo, and some other guys that are still part of this team. But you're adding this major piece to it on the defensive line, and you need a guy that's a stalwart that can play a lot of snaps. You definitely want to have a rotation, but you want a guy that can play a lot of snaps right away and plug and play in this defense. And I think Huff, is definitely that guy. And I was excited from when I heard we were focusing on him. So earlier, we had to comment that we didn't sign any, that we still need help at linebacker. Absolutely. But we did go out and get some pieces. They're not top-tier pieces, but neither was some of the guys that we went and got at other positions. Like a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, when he came to us, I mean, he had played well, right? But nobody was talking about him being the piece he was for us. So we got 2 linebackers. The first one is Zach Braun from the New Orleans Saints. Any thoughts on Zach Braun?
I mean, I didn't really keep up with him with the Saints, so I really don't know how he played.
So the thing about Braun is simply this. I think he's definitely a guy who could possibly start because we're going to be going to the 3-4, so we're going to need 4 starting linebackers. It's a 1-year deal, so it's not any type of a long-term commitment for him and for Julian Okwara. These are 2 guys who can come in, at least provide depth pieces, at least provide an upgrade from, I believe, what we had last year, because linebacker was definitely a challenge last year. We still have one of the better young linebackers in the league, I think, Nakobe Dean, right? He's still there. He's just got injured, right? But besides him, I think you really did need to overhaul this position. It looks like there's something we're going toward. I believe we're going to draft the guy. I think we'll still see what's there and maybe go after a piece in free agency as well, because it's not always the big name guy. It's the guy that fits your system well. If you look at our Super Bowl year, we didn't have great linebackers. We had 2 guys that were solid, but they weren't great. So this year we're going to be able to have even more guys, right? So we're going to see how things play out with this. Obviously, the question is Hassan Reddick, because if you're going to bring him, if he's going to stay, which he may or may not, but if he is, we know that he is mainly a pass rusher, right? He plays the linebacker position, but he's really more of an edge. But he's not a guy that I feel body-wise you can put at the inside linebacker position and he gives you the same production. What's beneficial is he's coming off the edge, so he's able to get speed, he's able to get around a lot of times. He's being blocked by a tight end, maybe a backup running back, that sort of thing. So when you're talking about that, you're looking at, you want to add some guys who have versatility. And from what I was able to read on Braun, he's a guy that has some versatility. He can play in the pass, he can play the run game, and he can also give you some rushing. He hasn't played the type of snaps that we're going to probably expect him to play. But sometimes you go out and you identify guys, you bring them in, you give them an opportunity, they take it and run with it. Sometimes they don't. And I think that's why you get another piece, and that's why you draft at least one guy at linebacker.
Facts.
All right, and then we'll go ahead and talk about Julian Okwara as well. This signing just came about, or I didn't see it earlier. So it came about earlier today, I believe. But again, another guy that can provide at least a depth piece for us. We'll see what else is brought in through free agency, through the draft. But it is another body on another 1-year contract that can go in and, at least compete in training camp and see what it can give us to help this team be, the best that it can be. Because at the end of the day, the main problem the Eagles had last year was they didn't have enough bodies that could play. Again, guys that can just play all 3 facets of linebacker. You need linebackers who can cover, linebackers who could tackle, and linebackers who can rush the passer when needed. So these guys that we're getting can do all those things, right?
Right.
Again, no knock on Hassan Reddick, but he is a one-trick pony. He's really great at that one thing. But we saw what happened when you try to put him back in pass coverage. And tackling was a problem for the whole entire team last year. Hopefully that's something that can be recovered with the change in coaching staff and a focus on really getting back to basics. I don't know what was happening last year, but it doesn't seem like a lot of things were being focused on. It should have been. That could have been because we had guys who were in their first run as coordinators, and didn't have the proper support, right? Because you still need support if you're going to be a young coordinators can succeed anywhere. But in order to do so, there's one thing that they need, and it's veterans on their staff. And that's where I think we ultimately failed both of our coordinators last year, especially the OC, because he had to run a playbook that was trash. But digression will get us nowhere because we'll be on a whole nother topic and we won't go over stuff that we've set up to talk about. So we're going to move back to that before we get on that side issue, right? All right, so we also added offensive lineman Matt Hennessey from the Atlanta Falcons. So Hennessey is a swing guy. He can play center or either guard. So we've got a guy that can play multiple positions because we got some of guys like Suopelo and such that are free agents. They may return, they may not. But I think it's smart to go out and get a guy who can play the center in case something happens with Cam Jurgens, who, from all intents and purposes, from where will be the guy. But in case he gets hurt, or in case one of the guards don't hold up, and obviously we know which guard I'm talking about, that would be the left guard, doesn't hold up whoever they end up putting in that position, then he's a guy that can come in and do it, or he might come in and win that position. We don't know. Give me your thoughts on Matt Hennessey.
I think it's a good pickup. I mean, we need somebody extra on that O-line. I did, watch him play here and there in Atlanta. So he did pretty good with that trash O-line that they had and the non-quarterback that they had. So I can see him doing really well in Philly.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I'm not even gonna mess with that one though. So the big one, and I know this is your guy, so I'm gonna let you go first with this one. Your guy.
Yeah. My guy. That love-hate relationship.
Gardner-Johnson.
Reportedly
is back with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Back home where he should have been last year. Okay. I'm happy about that. We definitely needed a good safety because we know Sidney Brown probably is not going to be ready. I love Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown played really well. But I'm glad to see CJ back. I felt like Blankenship played a little bit better with CJ. I'm just glad he's back. We need that energy back. We need that safety spot because the safeties we had, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love the new safeties that we did get, but they still need some more time to, be up under a vet. And I'm just glad we got that back. The only thing is if he can stay healthy because he ain't stay healthy. But my boy back. We got him back. So we'll see.
So, yeah, I did do a hat switch on y'all real quick. But so got to put on the Benny Boom production on the head as well. So shout out to Benny for that. But the thing is, what I like about the signing is the versatility. Because a lot of people talk about, we need, 3 linebackers, we need this, we need that. Right? We got this 3-4 coming. But you could take a guy like CJ and you could possibly throw him in at linebacker in certain situations. You can throw him in at corner in certain situations because he can play these positions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can still have a role for your other young safeties that you have on the team and still find ways to use him as a weapon. The important part of this is weapon. You want to have guys that are weapons, guys that can do so much for your team. A lot of people don't realize, especially on defense, versatility is important due to injury. Right? Say we get a great linebacking core, one of the guys gets hurt. Hey, CJ, you're playing good at safety, but we need you to slide over, play a little linebacker for us, maybe some slot corner. These are things that he can't do. So versatility is going to be big with him, and that's why I hated that we lost him last year. But I understand from the team perspective, we offered you a deal, you didn't want it, so we moved on, right? Because you got to make moves before guys are gone. Because if you don't make that, if you don't decide we got to split, if you don't want to accept the deal that we're offering you, then we don't have Big Play Slay back. And we could say Big Play Slay may not be the same exact player that he was 2-3 years ago, but tell me he ain't the best corner on our team. That's all I'm saying. So you don't want to lose that.
Slay had a good year.
Yeah, and you don't want to lose that because of complacency, because another guy's taking too long to decide what he wants to do. So that was the thing with me. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, CJ was saying he don't even want to be in Philly and this and that and the fans in Philly and all that. He did. He said all of it. And I'm not gonna sit there and act like he didn't say it. Now he's gonna have to have a press conference, and he's gonna have to respond to his comments.
Well, he did apologize. I just think it was a temper tantrum as we got up here and said when he left, things just didn't go his way. He was mad and he was just acting like CJGJ does. But he did apologize yesterday, and he said that we had many great memories and he ready to get one. So, and I think he's happy that he don't have Gannon. I think that's another thing. He's happy that Gannon's gone. And I think he feel like he can excel up under Fangio. We'll have to see how Fangio plays out. But yeah, he did. He apologized. And I'm sure he'll address that press conference.
I just want to say, I'm going to tell y'all right now, you say one cross thing or you put one cross comment in there about CJGJ, and that one right there,
I'm coming for your neck. I'm coming for your neck.
She got something for you.
Period.
Now, if he play bad, she going to be mad at me, because if he play bad, I'm calling him out. I don't even care. I ain't giving him no excuses. I ain't giving nobody no excuses this year. Y'all had y'all excuses last year. Y'all burn them up. Scrub in the building. What up, Scrub?
What up, Scrub?
And then Benny's got a comment here. So Benny says, that's what I'm thinking about, how versatile CJGJ is, where he can play different positions. Yeah, that's the big thing. That's, to me, that and, like Diva said, personality. Those are the two things I look at and say, that's what we were missing. That's what we need. That dog was gone, and that guy that you can say, you know what, such and such, hey, Bradbury ain't playing well, bro. Go ahead and play corner. You know what I'm saying? This guy gets hurt, bro. Go in there and play safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can move him around, and he knows what he's doing. He understands, and he gonna give you that nastiness all the time. All right, so we're gonna move over here in a moment, and we are also going to discuss the guys that we brought back to the team. But before we do that, we are going to take our first, but not our last, commercial break of the evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Let's make it happen.
Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Monday at 3:05 p.m. Eastern, 2:05 p.m. Central. Exclusively on the Sertoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool. Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kermit the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
This is Brett, and you're watching Shady Sports Network. Tune in, hit that like button.
You might wonder, what do these guys do? Player signing announcements. I never in a million years thought you would actually come on to break this news. So without further ado, go ahead and tell everybody what happened today.
Yeah, man. I just had to work out with the Cincinnati Bengals. Finding me right out.
Without further ado, I'd like to announce that, I'll be taking my talents to Salina Liberty.
This just in, the Major League of Football is reportedly collapsing, unable to pay hotel room bills, with players being kicked out of their rooms and hotel managers asking them to leave voluntarily without issue.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so a couple commercials, we'll be back in the building. Got a couple of comments, and then we're going to move on to the players that we did retain for this year. All right, so Old Man Mob is in the chat again. He says, nah, Eagles fans, old that man, and I'm sorry, not all of them, but some of them were out of pocket. Now they switched back up on him. All right. And then Scrub says, I don't like none of the Eagles pickups, but it's just because they the Eagles. Hey, man. It'd be like that. We're moving on up. Got commercials now. Yes, sir. We moving on up to the east side.
You
We're
know
almost at the deluxe department. We ain't quite in the sky yet. We're one level down. All right. So, time to talk about retained players. Again, we ain't gonna really get into salaries, but importance to the team. So everybody done told you about salaries. ESPN tells you that all day. Fox tells you that all day. 80% of the shows that you watch. But do they talk to you about what they expect them to do? That's what we're here for. So, we re-signed our left guard, Landon Dickerson, to the richest contract the guard has gotten. How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about us re-signing him?
I mean, Landon Dickerson has been a key part of the team and his success, especially season before last. I mean, he played a pretty good season last year, despite the mess, but he has been a key player. And when he was hurt last season, you could tell the difference. So I'm glad that he got paid. My boy got paid because he deserved that.
He definitely got paid. Not just paid, he got paid. But the thing is, we have a right-handed quarterback. So we want that left guard and that left tackle to be solid. Mailata and Dickerson, that's a solid duo on that side to protect Jalen Hurts' backside. That's a good run blocking duo as well on that side. So consistency, they've been playing together. They can continue to play together. I love going ahead and locking them up because right now it's the richest, but guess what's going to happen in 2 months? It's not going to be the richest anymore. We know how this works. So go ahead and doing it. We got the extra money because cut Bayer, cut some other people. Then we got the extra bump of like $30 million for the salary cap. So this was a good year to kind of make some of these moves where you can eat some of that money this year, guaranteed money, stuff like that. Play with your books and get things right. Also, I mean, you don't want this guy to go anywhere because let's say something happens with Cam Jurgens, and say you want to say, you know what, Landon, you played center before. Maybe we throw you in there. Maybe we throw Hennessey in your position. So there's a lot of things that you can do now. Again, big talking point. This has been something the Eagles were talking about a whole lot until last year. Flexibility. Flexibility means you play more than one position. So if your guards can play center, you got a backup that can play center or guard, right? And you got a young guy at the right guard that we're going to see what he can do. They may not even give him a chance to be the starter. We'll see. So that's why I'm not even bringing up his name because we'll have to see what they do with him first. But the important part is Landon Dickerson is going to be here. And that's important because he's a stalwart on that line. And we talk about keeping the line together. We know Kelce's gone, so a big piece is gone. We understand that. But if we start to lose other pieces as well, then we start to look like some of these other teams. And it's smart to keep your best players when you can. Great job by Howard in the front office for saying, this is our guy. We got to make sure he stays around. All right. And next on the list, this is somebody we both love. I already know. Our kicker, Jake Elliot.
Elliot the man. My boy deserved to get paid. Like, Jake Elliot has undeniably been one of the best kickers probably since David Akers in Philadelphia's time. He definitely has saved us a lot of games, especially last year. Some games we probably shouldn't have won, but he saved that tail. So Jake deserved that money. Like, Jake is top tier kicker in the NFL, period.
Completely agree. I love what he does. I love the passion, man. When this guy kicks one of those field goals, he ready. I love the fact that he's, in a team, you see guys slapping him on the butt, high-fiving him, patting him on the helmet. He just fits in, right? Like, everything you see, I'm not in the locker room, right? But everything you see, like you see them together, he's hanging out with players. A lot of times you see your kicker's like over to the far left with the punter and maybe the lone snapper and not with anybody else. So these guys are with the rest of the team. Obviously this time he got to go off to himself and get ready to kick, but he's part of the team. He's not seen as just a kicker, but he's seen as a guy that's part of the team. We've seen him even try to make a tackle before. Didn't work out well, but he gave it the old college try, as they say. So love it, man. Love having him back. Losing him would have been major in a negative manner. So making the right decisions and not just saying, oh, we got to go get free agents, but also remembering we got guys right here already that we got to sign. So great job so far of just balancing that and getting these guys early, because when you get them signed early, you don't have to worry about it, as free agency trolls on, as you get more into the year. Even if they're not like a free agent, you still want to go and get them signed, get them extensions in place, and get things good so you don't have to worry about that moving forward. And speaking of that, another guy that I know we both wanted back on this team, the punter, Braden Mann, is back.
Yeah, Braden Mann has been really good, way better than Sip Hoss. I mean, what can you say about him? Like last year, my boy punted his tail off, and that's what we needed. We needed pin him back, and that's what he's been doing. So yeah, I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad we made a priority to sign both of those because we needed that. That's serious.
Absolutely. We got a couple of comments here. So Benny says, did y'all know that Landon Dickerson is a North Carolina native, born and raised in Hickory, a small town country boy, got his bag. Yes, sir.
Well, you can tell that.
We got in the building. He said, let's not forget about my yak. He said, Matt Hennessey in the building. So how about this? We're going to call you Aunt Hennessey. That work for you? Aunt Hennessey for the rest of the season. With that yak on the side.
With that yak.
But yeah, you definitely right about that. So man, we definitely needed him because you got to solidify your punter. You got to have a guy that can place their ball properly. You say, hey man, we need that ball on the left side, inside the 5. It need to die so the guys get a chance to get to it and make sure it don't get in the end zone. Mm-hmm. That's a specialty position. A lot of people don't really think about it in the course of a game. You talk about offense, defense, you talk about special teams, kick returns and stuff. We talk about kicking field goals. But being able to pin guys on punts, being able to put the ball where it needs to go, away from who it needs to be away from at times, that is a skill. And previous punters did not have that skill. But Braden Mann seems to have had that skill last year. So hopefully he can do the same thing again. Hopefully he can show us that, hey, that wasn't a fluke last year. I'm punting like crazy. Go ahead and slide the rest of that bag next offseason.
Mm-hmm.
You play, bad coming, bro. Bad coming. We showing that the bad coming.
Make sure DeVante get paid, though.
Yes, sir. Well, he ain't got to get paid until after next year because, he's getting that $15.5 million next year. But I feel what you're saying. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you caught this or not, but we did skip one of the players on the new signings. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to him real quick because I wanted to push him away from everybody else because I think he has importance. And I don't think a lot of people recognize and realize that importance. But before I go to him, we have to go ahead and do the triumvirate of special team signees. And we have to talk about our long snapper, Rick Lovato. He's back as well. So we got that whole squad back together. We got the long snapper back, the punter, and the kicker. So obviously, Mann's a 1-year deal. So, we'll have to make another decision next offseason. But at least for the season, Mann's going to be there. They both are going to be the placeholders for them are both going to be receiving it from the same guys last year. So that's going to be big. He understands what to do in that position. He's been there. He's comfortable with the coach, the only coach who, shouldn't have been touched, ironically, because special teams was hot garbage 2 years ago when everything else was good. So it kind of was a reversal. So can we get all three on the same page this coming season? Can we have a good offense, a good defense, and a good special teams? That would be great and wonderful. And then the only thing we got to do is worry about the refs, and we can make some things happen. I'm taking digs whenever I can, y'all. I am taking digs. Because if you pay other people 14 on 11 and you winning, you still winning. But asterisks need to be shooting around here. Personal opinion, call it what you want. Now, the player I was referring to is DeVante Parker. We got him from the New England Patriots. A lot of people say, DeVante Parker. Why we signed DeVante Parker? Diva, question for you on DeVante Parker. Do you believe this man can be a 3 or 4 receiver, the third or fourth wide receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles?
This man can definitely be a third or a fourth. What y'all want, Quez Watkins? I mean, I'm just trying to make it make sense here. Like, we have the two main receivers that we know will catch the ball, but we also need a third receiver. We didn't re-sign Olamide Sakitas. You know you weren't gonna re-sign what's his name? So we had to get no right. So you had to go get a solid 3 receiver just in case something happened to AJ Brown, DeVonta Smith, as we seen. You have to go get a solid third receiver, period. Just in case them two are locked up and they can't get free, then your third receiver can get out there and catch some balls. So why are we not? Like, he didn't play bad with the Patriots. Like, he had Mac Jones. Like, what are y'all expecting? You know what I'm saying? Like, if your quarterback is garbage and he can't really get you the ball like he's supposed to, you can't judge that man because of mac and cheese. I mean, make it make sense here. So let's see what he's going to do in Philly. And I guarantee you, I'll be like, oh, DeVante Parker. Oh, he caught the ball. Oh, that boy bad. And all of that. Watch what I tell you. Watch him work. Watch him work in Philly.
Y'all call him mac and cheese. I call him whack and cheese. But, yeah, so first of all, Howie, if you listening, I just want you to know, bring back OZ.
Please do.
Bring back OZ. OZ and DeVante Parker. Bring back OZ. Let's do that, man. Let's stop playing. Let's bring back OZ. That'd be a great foursome there. And then I know you're gonna have your guy that return punts instead of Britton Kobe. You're gonna get up in there too. I get it. But bring back OZ too. We need that. Let's really get that thing started from the beginning, man. Let's not play no games this year.
Let's make sure we got depth, because we seen when AJ Brown went down, Julio did step up. But I'm just saying, you got to be prepared for if your 2 top receivers get hurt in the same game or get hurt in 2 different games, or DeVonta need to sit out a game. You need to be prepared. So you need to have enough receivers that you know can get out there and catch that ball in case your 2 prime receivers can't be on the field. Period.
Yep, exactly. And like I say, the thing is, we got a comment here that I'm going to put up here in a second. We'll put it up before I talk. So Philly says she's here, but late. What up, Philly?
What up, Philly?
And then Benny says, don't forget the long snapper. Oh, we weren't finished, sir. We weren't finished. Old Man Mob says, yeah, I feel bad for you. Parker is horrible, but maybe he will play better because Pats are still paying him. Here's the thing with that Old Man Mob. I'm going to let Benny say it. Addie Parker gives something we needed last season. You can line him up on the outside with Smitty in the slot, throw a change up on the defense. He knows how to run routes. But back to Old Man. Like David said, how are you going to judge a man for having a bad year when Whack and Cheese is the one throwing the ball? Whack and Cheese, bro. There's a reason why I call him Whack and Cheese. He's whack as a quarterback. And the thing is, DeVante Parker, I think, is going to be exceptional for what we need him for. We're not asking him to go out there and be a 1 or 2 like you're asking him and Kendrick Bourne and other guys to go out there and make all these plays from a garbage quarterback. We're asking him to be a third option. Hey, when the other 2 guys are covered, you get open. We get you the ball, right? Mm-hmm. He blocks. So that's an important thing. He can block. And again, like Benny said, he doesn't have to be just in the slot. You can put him, you can line him up out wide. You can line him up in 2-3 wide receiver sets. You can throw him the ball. You can have him block for another receiver. You have more versatility with him. And that's an important word, versatility, because we talked about versatility all these years with Quez Watkins. You couldn't line Quez Watkins anywhere up in the slot unless it was against number 2s. When the other team put their number 2s in, then you can line them up there. So just get guys who can do it if needed. We're not saying DeVante Parker's going to come in and have a 1,000-yard season. There's no feasible way that's going to happen. He may have a 500-yard season. But if those are 500 good yards, then he's done what we got him there to do. And by the way, thank you, Patriots, for paying, $3 million of his salary. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So then Old Man has a comeback for us. Says, I understand that all I'm saying is he was last in separation. It was dropping wide open balls and balls hitting his hand. He also gave up on the team. I don't blame him for giving up. Well, I mean, all those things are symptoms of giving up.
Right. Exactly. I mean, there you go. So we're going to see how he do with Jalen Hurts. Hopefully Jalen Hurts will drop a dime. But yeah, I think he'll play better. It depends on the system. If the system does not tailor or fit to you, then you're not going to be able to show your ability when the system is not tailored. And when you got Bill Belichick and then you got Whack and Cheese, and both of them are not, it was just too much in with the Patriots. Even Asante Samuel said that. So it's not really an ideal place. It might be now that Belichick is gone, but back then it really wasn't an ideal place. Like, you had to be mentally prepared. And I just don't think they knew how to use him for his talent. Because, I mean, he wasn't a bad college player. So I think he will be fine.
Wasn't bad at Miami either.
My point.
Old man said, I get what you're saying. Cool. I'm just letting you know I've seen him for years and doing the same thing. I've been watching him. He was on my list of players I wanted. I've been watching him. So old man also says, and like I said, Pat's paying him. He's going to ball out just to make Pats look bad. Probably. That's all we need. That's all we need. Oh man, that's all we need, bro. But yeah, so I love it. You know, again, bring guys in who can do a lot to help this team be successful. That's what it's all about. You know, we can talk about this or that, but what it's all about is pieces. Like you said, the right system, right players. That's how you get guys to be successful. They're not always going to be successful everywhere because sometimes you're in the wrong system. You know, you took really good players. Chad Ochocinco, when he was playing, he went to the Belichick system. It was trash.
But
when you took him out of it, everywhere else he was at, he was good. But in that system, he wasn't. And, you know, part of it could be what they're expecting you to do, what they're asking of you. But at the end of the day, we're going to look at, hopefully, Kellen Moore is going to look at what DeVante Parker can do successfully and do that with him. That's a big part of it, too. Yeah. I mean, the Patriots didn't even have no OC a couple of years ago. And then last year, the OC is so, you know, that's part of it, too. Just saying. Not putting it all on the Patriots. I get dropping the ball to him. So old man says, well, Samuel takes shots at Pats in New England all the time. He upset Bill moves on for him because he dropped the game when he picked. But Diva and Cool, I definitely respect your opinions.
Hey, but DeVante Samuel played well in Philadelphia. Played mighty well in Philadelphia.
He did. He's probably a little mad though. You know, I can feel you on that too, old man, because you know when dudes leave a team and they weren't really ready to leave, but they kind of got put away. They seem to act a little different toward their team. A little bit more salt be dropped about their team. So I could feel that as well. So we got a couple of more people that we kept or resigned. So one is going to be tight end Albert O. So I know we've kind of talked about this before, but I figure since we're going through everybody, let's go on and go through everybody. So Diva, please enlighten everyone with your thoughts.
I just hope we use them. You know what I mean? Because I don't really felt like we didn't really use him like that last year. And then he was hurt. So, I mean, I hope he can stay healthy. I hope we can actually see what he could do because, I mean, but look, Dallas Goedert always hurt too. So, I mean, hey, we got to have a solid tight end that can stay healthy. I'm hoping that this is Alberto's year to stay healthy and we can really see what he could do. But I mean, maybe you could have went and got another tight end, but hey, we'll see.
I definitely feel you. For me, I don't like the move. I think the top three tight ends that we have signed as of now are all guys that get hurt all the time. And that's Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, and Albert O. So you got your three top guys going into camp, all are always injured. I get you got 90 people you can sign right now, so ain't nothing set in stone. People can move up, maybe Noah Togai or EJ Jenkins does something to overtake someone, but probably not, right? Just being honest, probably not. So you're looking at Dallas Goedert, who's amazing when he can play, but you know he's going to miss a couple of games hurt from something. Grant Calcaterra, he might even be able to play with more concussions, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. You know, and Albert O. So I just want to go out and get a guy who can block and catch the ball and can stay healthy at one of those top tight end positions. He's not there right now. So how we got some work to do, draft or whatever, but we need a guy that can block and catch the ball. Shoot, it's a point where I'm
at least draft.
You know,
I mean, you got to draft.
Stoll.
You got to do something.
I would have rather had Jack Stoll than Albert O. But that's
me too. I would have
So
rather
when we're
kept
looking,
Zach Pascal, but hey, whatever.
yeah, I would. That would be a nice person to keep. I like Jake Pascal.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the updated depth chart, right? So right now, DeVante Parker is the left wide receiver, AJ is the right, and DeVonta Smith is shown as a slot. That could change, and that's on our lads, which we use for NFL depth charts, just because it's pretty consistent with what happens, at least as of now. Of course, Saquon is the one. Then we got Gainwell as the 2. And then we have Lou Nichols as the 3 wide running back, and Tyron Davis-Price, who got from San Francisco, as the 4th running back. I've heard some rumblings about Davis-Price, but I got to be honest when I say, show me. For all these new guys and guys getting stepped up and stuff, and Tyler Steen, if he's the starter at right guard, all these guys getting stepped up or getting opportunities, new players. I'm from Missouri. Show me. I'm gonna be from the Missouri State. Just show me what you can do, bro. Interesting
I
right
felt
now.
like Tyler Steen, when he did play, he gave good minutes. I can't say that I seen a lot from Tyler Steen when he was in there. I like Tyler Steen, but the other ones I don't know about them. Gainwell, I definitely know. Definitely held to the no.
Yeah. And then a lot of people have been running around talking about, we got to get a backup quarterback. Tanner McKee is not the same type of quarterback as Jalen Hurts, but I think he can make the same reads as Jalen Hurts. And what I mean by that is he's been in the offense for a year. He was a 6th-round pick last year. He was our 3rd quarterback. If you want to go get another guy to challenge him for number 2, I'm good with that. But it's not like we don't have a second quarterback. We're not just running with Jalen Hurts right now. McKee's been in the system for a year, watched the playbook. He didn't get a lot of chances to play on the actual field, but we know what it is when you get out there. We know what it is. We just got to hope that he's going to be able to make it happen when he is out there. We're going to talk about just what the defense looks like in a second. But before we do that, there's one more individual that we have to discuss as far as someone coming back to the team. Benny says to old man, he watched some Parker highlights from last season and saw him get plenty of separation in his route running. And old man says if you guys can get Cade, Stove, or Bell as tight end, Eagles will be cooking up. And I believe you guys could get Cade in the 3rd round, at worst 2nd round, and Bell is the 3rd to 4th round tight end. Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, it's a lot of guys, and we're gonna definitely be talking about that in the coming weeks because the draft's gonna be sneaking those on us here in about a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But that guy, of course, he's already announced this is his last season, but defensive end Brandon Graham is going to be back with the team. So Diva, I know this is me and your guy. So Diva, talk to us about Brandon Graham.
Listen, I don't think Philadelphia could have handled Kelce, Fletch, and Brandon Graham retiring like that. That just would have been like a heartbreak. I don't think we really could take it this time. And I'm glad that Brandon Graham decided to come back one more year. I mean, he had basically already said it, but before the season ended, he was like, I want to come back one more year. He said it as soon as we lost. I want to come back one more year. I feel like I still have it in me. I feel like we can come back and win something. And I'm glad he did that. Brandon Graham is a true definition of loyalty to the city. And we appreciate everything he's done. I'm glad that he's back because we couldn't handle him leaving as well. We need at least one vet on that side of the ball to help these youngins get together. You got 1 year. You got one more year with Brandon Graham, y'all. All right. So make sure you watching and you learning and take heed because we needed that. We needed him. If Fletcher wasn't gonna stay, we definitely needed Brandon Graham. So I'm happy that he came back one more year.
Yeah. So Benny responds, responds to Benny and says Benny, he would drop the ball when it hit his hands, but like Cool and Diva say, he's not Eagles one like he was with New England, so he could actually cook up for you guys. Yeah, I mean, when you're going to being like a number 3 from being a number 1, if you can't cook at 3 or maybe 4, bro, you get it out of the lead rapidly.
Fast.
Yep. So we are going to discuss a couple of more things, of course. We're going to hit y'all with just what's happening on the defensive side of the ball as far as what the depth chart's looking like right now. Got to talk about Fletcher Cox. We want some time for that. We also have to make sure We talk about Jason Kelce in his comments because we still watching what you're saying. We still listening. Still a little bit of hope. We still ain't gave up all the way yet. We know it's very slight, but it's still there. But before we do that, before we get into that, round 2, we commercialing it up. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
All right, you guys. So yeah, lots of other rousing programs that you can get information on, and switch it up a little bit when you hear something different. But Diva, back to that depth chart we were talking about here. So on defense, right now we're looking at Zach Braun sliding in as our right inside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan Reddick as a left outside linebacker. Nakobe Dean as the left inside linebacker. And then guess who on the depth chart is our right outside linebacker at this moment?
Who?
Josh Sweat. So a lot of people, I know you got something to say, but a lot of people have been saying, oh, why are y'all looking to trade Josh Sweat? Could this give you an idea why? 3-4. Not 4-3.
Right. I mean, I like Josh Sweat. I do. I like him a lot, but I don't know. It seems like his production has went down, especially last year. And I don't know if it was just, how the whole coordinator thing went down. But we'll see if we still keep him. I think he thought he was, I know it was talks about trading him. I don't know if they're still thinking about it, but we'll just have to see. I mean, the year before last, Josh Sweat was a beast. So, I mean, just have to see.
I think the thing is, it's going to be hard to have him and Reddick in linebacker. Mm-hmm. I think that's why they're both on the market, just to see if someone really wants to bite for one of them or the other. We had some discussions in the chat, me and one of the people in the chat, about Reddick and if he leaves or whatever. I don't necessarily want to see Reddick go, but I look at what we're expected to do defensively this coming year, and it's going to be harder for him to do that, but it may be even harder for Sweat, who's always had his hand in the dirt, to try to switch and be an outside linebacker. They could get creative. You could build something where you're having, your safeties kind of protect your outside linebackers when they're rushing or whatever. We'll see. But when I look at the scheme, when I look at what we're switching to in this 3-4, this bend but don't break, it's going to be hard to have both of those guys. as a fan, don't get me wrong, I don't want either of those guys to leave. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, those guys should leave. But I understand from a scheme perspective, it would be hard to have both of those guys on the field. You know what I'm saying? And they're both starting money, so you're not going to, say, well, you back up him or whatever because you're both getting starting money. So if that's what it is, then make the move that you need to make. I can understand it. I won't like it, but I can understand what we're trying to build and what we're trying to do, and that everything's changing. And that's where the difference between me and a lot of people is. A lot of people don't get you can't just say, oh, because this guy was able to do it at this point 2 years ago, everybody can do that, right? No, each individual player are themselves. They're who they are as a player, and they do what they can do. And love them both. If we can find a way to keep them both, cool. But, Reddick is going to turn around after the season, but, hey, bro, give me the loot. If you feel like he can be there, if he gives you another year in this defense and he's playing like he's been playing, you're going to have to get in the loop. It is what it is. This man's not going to continue to play unless you give him the loop.
Not get paid, right?
Yeah. And I don't fault him for that at all. I don't want to go nowhere and go in and work hard and don't get the loop. Nobody does. So, that's just human nature. But the team side is like, are they going to work in the scheme? And I think that's the biggest reason why you're hearing these rumblings and the possibility of, at least one of them moving. All right. And then when we go to this defense, this safety and cornerback looks interesting so far. So right now your starters at left cornerback is Darius Slay. Sidney Brown is your starting strong safety. Reed Blankenship is your starting free safety. James Bradbury is your starting right corner. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is your starting nickelback. And then their backups, because this is important as well, is Keely Ringo, Mekhi Gardner, Tristan McCollum. Let me do positions, my bad. Keely Ringo at left corner. Mekhi Gardner at strong safety. Tristan McCollum at free safety, which I think will get some more people. Eli Ricks at right corner. And Mario Goodrich at nickel. Now we get to the people we don't even want on. Well, one person I know we don't want on the team. Zach McPherson's coming back from injury. Is your third left cornerback. No third safeties. Your third right cornerback is Josh Jobe, who should already be gone. And then Tiawan Mullen.
Why is that boy still on the team?
He must got some dirt on somebody. All I can think, we got some dirt on somebody. And I can tell you guys for sure, in case anyone's concerned, 1,000% sure that dude who will not even be named no more is not on the roster. And I'm happy about that. We don't need.
I'm glad he's not.
A dude like a wide receiver. We need to be better at wide receiver. And hey, if he were to go out this offseason and find a way to be super duper, that would be cool. Go do it somewhere else. I don't even want to take the chance on him.
No, if you don't, which I'm glad he's gone. But he should have been on special team or something. He shouldn't have been on the regular roster. Period.
All right. I knew you were gonna say it. Hennessey.
I bet on myself. We'll keep betting on yourself, bro.
Bet on yourself right on out the door. We betting on you to roll out.
What I tell you last night, he came from the trash Alara and the Rieger generation. Trash.
She said it came from not even just generation. She said he came from a bloodline.
A bloodline.
I was like,
trash. Trash juice.
She basically saying they got the same deoxyribonucleic acid.
They got the same DNA.
That's cold, but I mean, I didn't find any incorrectness in her comments, right? I couldn't be like, nah, Diva, nah. I was like, what's to say about that?
Oh, can't forget about JJ too. He was in that category too, from that whole DNA line, that whole bloodline.
Yo, JJ was like, his footwork was so bad that he was like the bad DNA.
I told you. I
You know
told
what
you
I'm
when
saying?
I
He was
saw
the
that boy
mutation
come
of the
in.
DNA.
Ortega.
Says quiz. Sega Regular. They all. Hey, I love it. I love it. I might steal it. I might, if I remember, I might steal it. I love it.
Man.
That is a great way to put trace times 4 in one sentence. Or you could just say trace times 4. That works for me too. But hey, I rock with it either way. I dig it. I'm with it. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, if you are watching us on Shady Sports Network, make sure you hop over to that youtube.com/at Eales Elite podcast. Subscribe and like on that side as well. And vice versa, if you're watching us on Eales Elite channel, make sure you hop over and check out Shady Sports Network and hit that like and subscribe and share.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that from all you good people. And got to remind you, because if I don't, I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. Bet US. You want to bet US? You want to hop on Bet US? Go on and hit that link right there. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you use that link when you go on Bet US so the peoples can slide a little cash to keep our lights on and make sure we can continue to upgrade the product that we provide you with.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? A little housekeeping out the way. We got one more comment here. So old man says, what's crazy is Cool try to tell me Rager was bad. Well, what's SAF if he was Pat's best wide receiver? I'm down bad, but thank you, Cool and Diva, for going live. Keep up the great work. Oh, it didn't pop up on the screen. My bad, y'all. Yeah, it didn't pop up. Yeah, it's live sometimes. The little stuff miss.
Listen, if you watched him play in Philadelphia, you would have known he was trash. Trash. Okay. He had a few good games.
He said that was their best wide receiver. Well, see, here's the thing you got to remember about that too, old man. Though Parker was getting covered by the other team's best corner. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're not putting your best corner on no Jalen Reagor.
No,
there is no situation where you saying your number one corner on no Jalen Reagor. No, we don't do that in no way, shape, form. Nobody does that. That's the opposite of a good look.
Everyone's like, "Oh, he played good in the Super Bowl. I don't know why you guys don't like him because he's trash."
One good game does not erase 3+ years of straight hot doo-doo sauce.
Thank you.
You've slightly earned some of your money that game. That's all you did.
That's it.
Sucker. All right. So this one's a little trickier here. I mean, I really want to talk about this one, but of course we got to. And that's Fletcher Cox retiring. So he put out a statement. We're not gonna read the statement and do none of that, but basically he's done. And effective, now he's no longer gonna be in the NFL. Steve, I know, like I said, another one, and me and Steve got a lot of people we both like, right? Another one of our guys.
Dang, I'm gonna miss when he tackle and he get on the ground and he be like Cox all on you, man. Like, I don't know. He had a good 2 years, but I mean, I believe Jordan Davis is gonna be better. We already see what Jalen Carter gonna do, so I am excited for the young guys. We are gonna miss Fletch, most definitely. Eagle for life. Played very good seasons, gave us very good games. I hate it, but we knew it was coming. Jordan Davis basically told us from jump as soon as the season ended that he was gone. But I mean, I'm glad that they were able to play behind Fletch. Jordan got 2 years. Jalen Carter got a year, and he already had a monster rookie year. So I'm excited for the young boys. We need the young boys, but thank you, Fletch. Appreciate you. Wish you would have stayed one more year. But hey, on to the new ones.
Yeah. I was in a group with us talking about Fletcher. It said, "Oh, Mississippi mud duck, dirty dog," but in a positive way, like just saying like he gets gritty with it. And he did go to Mississippi State. This one sucks too. This has been an anchor on the defense for many years. He came in year one, and we already knew what he was. Like a Jordan Davis and a Jalen Carter, right? He's been where those guys were at the last couple of years, so he was able to help them, I think. When we talk about guys who leave and you hope that maybe they can find their way into the organization, he's the guy I look at, and I hope he finds his way, him and BG, onto doing something to help out on this team moving forward, especially Fletcher Cox this year, because he's got so much he can give these guys as far as knowledge and everything. So hopefully they find some role that he can help out with within the organization. I'd love for him to be a guy that that they can pick his brain as they send and develop within the NFL. Man, it's just hard to see number 91 gone, man. That's one of the few Nike jerseys I bought was number 91, right? And now I got to change every name on all my fantasy teams. But that's a whole different story. But yeah, that's constant in all my fantasy names. So got to be more creative. And that's all good. Just such a good piece, man. Him and Kelce, they were both here for some really lean years. They were here for some good years. Played for different coaches, different staffs, just stalwarts, And you look at Cox and you think he can go out and play another 5 years, and maybe he could.
Probably good.
I mean, you know when it's time, right? You know when it's time. Your body tell you when it's time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do what's best for you. We hate to see you go 1,000%, but you got to do what's best for you. And we just have to understand and accept that, hey, it's not in the cards for you to continue, playing. I wish some of these guys could play, extend their careers longer, but you also had the issue of their mental health, their physical health after the game's over. And it's that time. So, again, I hate to see him go as well because, man, Cox is one of my guys. Like, I feel like as a fan for the last 12, 13 years, that's been one of the guys I always just knew, like, we got Cox, right? I always knew we got Kelce at center, so we got a dude that could pull and block on the edge and get down the field 10, 15 yards and get a running back a chance to make a big play. And then you're losing two major pieces, one on offense and one on defense, and then you got the threat looming of the other one going after this year. So 3 guys that long-term Eagles, they're going to be going after this year. Right, 2 of them already gone after this year. All 3 of them gone. So it's going to be a whole new era in Philly. So young boys on the line, Milton Williams, I'm talking about you too. It's time to step up. We need it, man. We got to move forward. We got to be more successful. Let's go win one for BG, baby.
I like Milton Williams though. I mean, he showed a lot when he was out there behind Cox. Or when Cox would, sit down and he would be in for him. So Milton Williams got the chance. Him and Jordan Davis got the chance to be Fletcher Cox, point blank, period. But I am going to miss that mug tackling the quarterback because Cox was all over everybody. Everybody.
Hey, man. Moro Jomo, Marlon Tupeluto, Thomas Booker. We're going to need some more from y'all boys.
Yep. Facts.
Because the dudes in front of you got to have breaks.
Yep.
Somebody got to do something. So, in the chat, Hennessey says, let's not forget Dorian Green Beckham and Travis Fulgham. So, what's funny about Travis Fulgham? We talked about this when this happened. Me and you did, Diva. We weren't doing the show yet, but Travis Fulgham had a great year for us, and we just said, you a flea.
He did.
And we go out and get dudes like Dorian Green Beckham. And you like, bruh, what in the world? But Fulgham was a one-hit wonder. And I think if he would have got a chance to continue to play with us, I think he could have been something for a couple more years. But then that's crazy. But that's a good call out, though, because those are some OGs that were not that good. Also agrees with you. Milton Williams about to step it up. Got to.
Don't y'all forget we got Isaiah Rodgers gonna be back on the field.
Oh yeah. And then old man says the good thing is Eagles did it right. They planned ahead and got 2 really good defensive tackles. That, in my opinion, will be good for the Eagles. Maybe you guys see Cox as a defensive tackle coach or assistant even.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be upset about that.
I wouldn't either.
So, not gonna quote these comments either because I like to be loosely quote just in case somebody try to come through and give us a one of those C strikes. I don't say the name like some people do, but one of those C strikes. Jason Kelce. I was about to say the wrong name. Jason Kelce decided to say, hey, man, y'all going to go and get a Saquon Barkley after I leave. Man, I should, basically almost saying like, man, I wish I hadn't.
I want to be a part of it. He's saying you want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Long story short. So, Diva, I know it's a long shot. What's your belief of the chances that maybe he says #1 more season?
I would love it personally. I mean, I thought he was gonna, do a Brandon Graham stay 1 more year. And when he came out talking about the window kegs this time, I was like, man, really, Kels? Like they said you reconstructed your contract at the end of the season. So I'm like, yes, we got Kels for 1 more year. Like 1 more year, he gonna be the center, and we gonna be able to do this darn brotherly shove. And no, then my boy got to sit up there. I mean, he was balling. I didn't even watch all of it, y'all, because I just couldn't. Like, Kels is going to be forever one of the top centers in the NFL, period, and one of the top centers with Philadelphia. But when he seen all that signing, he was like, you looking at this white Kaylee like, girl, I might have to go back. So I would love it. I don't know if we got the cap space for it, but I know Kelce would take less money anyway just to be a part of something. But I would love it. I feel like those boys could use 1 more year of Kelce being at center, and then I would feel okay with Landon Dickerson and all them being under center. But I would love to have Kelce back 1 more year. I just really would.
And he said this on New Heights, by the way. Shout out New Heights. If you haven't seen the New Heights podcast, and I mean, I've been affiliated with them all, but it's a good podcast. Him and his brother, they do a lot of like mixing it up, right? They talk about sports, they talk about like their lives and different stuff. So it's a really good show. I don't think he has it. I think he wants to, but I think he understands it ain't enough. I'd love for Kelce if he can be 80% of what he's been throughout his career, but I think you always look back with that regret when you leave. I don't know any player that you talk to in any sport, right? Whether it's you played in college, you got hurt, you can't play no more, you play a couple of years overseas, whatever. You always feel like you could play again. You always feel like, man, if I just had this, I could play with them. But I think it's just, unfortunately, it's that point, man. I think Jason, it's over, bro. Like, I would love for you to come back if you could still perform at the level, and then not do any further damage to you. Because again, as you get older, taking all those hits, and then see, we do that brotherly shove, tushy pushy a lot. And the thing with that is that's a lot of extra like beating that he takes, being the center under that, and like the greedy fan in me wants him to come back, like you said, but like the person is like, I think he's done. Like, I think he should be done and just, ride off, do his thing, and, just enjoy life after football. So I'm going to say, unless you feel like you really got it, Jason, if you feel like you really got it another year, come on back. But if not, man, go on right off into that sunset, support the team, rock your gear, keep doing the podcast, man. You probably can get either a job with the team or probably could slide on one of these 3 or 4 little networks and do a little football coverage. So, I think you'll be fine. I know the itch is there. The itch is always there. But if you do even could really consider it, man, just do what's best for you. That's right. Like the big thing for me. Just do what's best for you.
That's true.
Yeah. So Diva, any final thoughts for the evening?
No, just ready to continue to see what we do, especially as this draft creeps up on us. Hopefully Howie will show us some love in this draft, not draft nothing stupid. But yeah, I'm ready to see how we gonna play this season and gel together. We got new pieces to the squad, ready to see how these coordinators is gonna work. And just see how overall the team will be this year. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, ain't no reason not to be excited. I mean, it's some question in there, but I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely think we got to do some more work at linebacker. He's not quite technically off suspension yet, Isaiah Rodgers, but you are right. He will be back. I just don't think he's technically completely off yet or able to be like on the roster yet. Because you know how with those things, it's kind of like it's things you got to. It's a certain date that he'll get reinstated. But yeah, he'll definitely be a player in the cornerback room, and hopefully he can get Joby up out of here. I wouldn't be upset if we were to find a way to maybe make a move with Bradbury. I think he has lost a little bit. It has affected him more than it did Big Play Slay, right? I think he's just a little bit slower than he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, last year. And I think it's Father Time. But it's unless he can find a way to adapt to that. Maybe if he can find a way to play a little differently, then maybe it'll work. But I wouldn't be upset if we were to find someone who would be willing to, rock with Bradbury either. But if he's here, I'm gonna support him. Got to ride with his guys in the squad. But we need better than last year. If you are here, Mr. Bradbury, got to give us more. Play the young guys this year
because he can't play.
He can't play.
He can't be a girl.
Nah. Play the young guys more, especially at the corner positions and stuff. Play the young guys more. Play the other guys at safety and stuff. And hey, they're gonna give up some plays, but the other guys give up plays too. Get these guys experience so we get through a season, we can start getting to the playoffs. Everybody has had enough experience playing where they can feel confident plugging them in. You start the season, understand your young guys are not as good. They don't know as much. They haven't been through as much. But it's your job as coaches to make sure that they go through those things throughout the season so they can be the best version of themselves they can be by the end of the season if you need them. And if you don't, it's just more depth. And who doesn't like depth? We didn't do that last year, and it hurt. It hurt.
Right.
Don't do that again. Learn from the mistakes. Things happen. Everybody makes mistakes. Learn from them. So, ladies and gentlemen, that being said, I'm going to hit you with the Fly Eagles Fly. Of course, you get one of those hashtag Be Elites. And make sure.
Check out Benny Boom with the gear.
Absolutely.
For real.
Absolutely. And make sure you tell 2 of your friends and 4 of your enemies come check Eagles Elite Podcast. Just because they don't like you doesn't mean they don't like us. And always remember, it's never where you start. It's always where you finish. We'll see y'all next week for another riveting episode of the Eagles Elite Podcast.